Hi, and welcome back to English Lessons with Stephanie. This is Writing and Vocabulary Lesson 13. In this lesson, we'll be looking at the vocabulary from this week's writing and listening lessons on journeys. Our first word is matter. Matter can be used as a noun, but in this reading, it's used as a verb, meaning to be important. In the reading, we said, there is a saying in English, it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey. Our second example says, it doesn't matter to me where we have lunch. That means it's not important to me where we have lunch. Or in the third example, your opinion matters. Please tell me what you think. This means your opinion is important to me. Notice that matter is an intransitive verb. It can be used at the end of a sentence, like your opinion matters, or it can be used with an indirect object with the preposition to. It doesn't matter to me, or it shouldn't matter to you. Our next word is pack. In the reading, pack is used as a verb that means to put things in containers, like bags, boxes, or suitcases. In the reading, I said, I liked packing a little bag filled with books and snacks for the flight. This means I am putting things in a little bag that I can use during the flight. The second example says, my son packs a lunch every day to take to school. In both these examples, pack is used as a transitive verb. In the first example, the object, a bag, is the container that we're putting things into. In the second example, a lunch, the object is a thing that we're putting in a bag. So we can pack something into a bag, or we can pack a bag. In the third example, pack is used as an intransitive verb. Before they go on vacation, they have to pack. When pack is used as an intransitive verb, it usually means to pack before a trip or pack before moving house. In the other column, I wrote unpack, which is the opposite of pack. That means to take things out of boxes or containers. And in the noun column, we see that pack can be used as a countable noun, which is a type of container like a backpack. Our next word is snack. And here, snack is used as a noun that means something small to eat. A snack is not a full meal like lunch or dinner, but something small that we eat in between meals. So in our example, we put books and snacks in the bag. That means small things to eat. In our second example, I show you snack as an intransitive verb. He wasn't hungry because he snacked all day. And in the last example, we have snack used with an indirect object. Gigi snacked on carrot sticks in the afternoon. That means she ate small amounts of carrots in the afternoon. Our next word is fly. Fly means to travel through the air. And in the reading, we use the noun flight, which means the journey that we take in airplanes. The second example shows flying used as a gerund. When I was young, traveling meant flying. And the third example shows the past tense of fly, which is irregular, which is flew. My cousin is visiting. She flew in from Tokyo last night. So of course we use fly when we're traveling in airplanes. And also the same verb fly is used for birds or butterflies, anything that travels in the air. We can see that fly is often used with the prepositions in and out or to and from. And we can use fly to or fly from by itself, or fly into or fly out to, which actually mean the same thing. Similarly, if I fly in from Chicago or fly out from Chicago, both these sentences mean I'm leaving Chicago and ending somewhere else. Next, we have the word book. And of course, book is a noun that means something we read, but book is also used as a verb. And in the reading, it's used as a verb to mean reserve. I even enjoyed booking my tickets online, choosing the best routes, and finding airports I've never been to. Book is a regular verb. The second example shows us the past tense form. He booked an early flight so he could get home for dinner. And in the third example, we see booking used as a noun. I made a booking for a table at 6. So when we use the word book, we often use it with travel and making any kind of reservations or plans. Our next word is route. Route can also be pronounced route. It has the same meaning, route or route, and it means the path from one place to another. So in the reading, when I said I like choosing the best routes and finding airports I've never been to, this means the path I'm going to travel as I'm flying. When we use route as a verb, it means to travel a specific path. So in the second example, my GPS routed me around the traffic jam. That just means it sent me on a path around the traffic jam. The third example shows another use of route as a noun. He got lost when he took a different route from normal. Next, we have the phrase on top of. On top of is an adverb phrase that means even more so. And we use this to show emphasis that something is even more than the previous example. In the reading, I use on top of after several examples of how traveling was bad. I said airports were stressful, they stopped serving meals, and on top of all this, I suddenly became afraid of flying. In the next sentence, I also show a use of 3 examples. He's rude, ugly, and on top of that, dumb as dirt. Similarly, with the last example, I was sick all weekend and couldn't go to the party, and to top it off, I broke my phone and couldn't call anyone. And to top it off has a very similar meaning to on top of. Next, we have 2 synonyms, anxious and nervous. Anxious and nervous are both adjectives, and you can see in this chart the noun forms are anxiety and nervousness, and we have adverb forms anxiously and nervously. And both of these words mean that you feel mentally uncomfortable. We typically use these words when we're waiting for something to happen, like before something important happens or something bad. In the reading, I said I feel anxious from the moment we take off until the moment we land. So this is a feeling of discomfort, feeling not so great in an airplane. In the next example, I said traveling by water makes me more nervous than traveling by land, but not as nervous as traveling by air. So again, we're talking about this uncomfortable feeling. It is less than feeling scared, but it is feeling not peaceful, and you want the feeling to be over. And in the last example, I wrote, kids often get nervous on their first day of school. Our next word is relax. Relax is a verb that means to feel calm and at ease. So relaxed, the adjective form, would be the opposite of anxious and nervous. If you're anxious and nervous, you do not feel relaxed. So in the reading, I said traveling by train could be even slower, but more relaxing. Here we have the ing form of the adjective. So that's the cause. The train is relaxing, which causes me to feel relaxed. That's the effect. In the second example, we see relaxed used as a transitive verb. Yoga relaxes me. And the third example shows relax as an intransitive verb. She needs a vacation to relax. The noun form is relaxation, and we often say R&R, like in this other column, to say rest and relaxation. I need some R&R. Next, we have the verb pair of take off and land. So take off means to go up, and land means to return to the ground, the land. So in the reading, I said I feel anxious from the moment we take off until the moment we land. And these are actions in an airplane. The second example says the pilot smoothly landed the plane. The plane landed smoothly. These 2 sentences show land used as a transitive verb and then an intransitive verb. And the third example is we had a rough takeoff because of the weather. So that shows takeoff used as a countable noun, and you'll notice it becomes one word as a noun. All these examples show us takeoff and landing used with airplanes, but takeoff and land can also be used with other things that fly, like birds or rockets. Next, we have the noun phrase road trip. This is a journey that you take overland, typically by car. Road trips are very common in the US because cars are common and we have a good highway system, so it's very common to take long trips by car. The example I gave was in class 1, I talked about a 2-year road trip that I took with my now husband. The second example says we took a road trip to Las Vegas for her birthday. And the last example says let's go on a road trip. So notice that in the first 2 examples, we use the verb take with road trip. And this is true also just with the noun trip. We could also say I took a train trip, or I took a trip, or I took a vacation. This is the verb we would use, take. And the last example, we say let's go on a. So let's go on a road trip means the same thing as let's take a road trip. Next, we have the noun system. A system refers to connected things working together, or a network. In the reading, I said the United States, sadly, doesn't have a very impressive train system. And we use the word system with trains because trains are all connected, right? If the trains weren't connected, it wouldn't be a very good system. They would just be unconnected train lines. The second example says the company created a system for people to apply online. So here we use the word system because it's connecting people and the company. And in the third example, we have systemic as an adjective. When we use systemic as an adjective, we are usually referring to a problem that affects an entire system. When we use the adjective systematic, that means something is related to the system, and it's not usually a bad thing. So in the third example, it says the schools here struggle with systemic racism that makes it harder for minorities to succeed. So racism is definitely a negative thing. It's a problem. So we would describe the racism as systemic if it affects the entire system. Ride is a countable noun that's a synonym for journey or trip, and we usually use this word when we are not controlling the vehicle. So in the reading, I said the train trip was such a wonderful ride. I wished it could have lasted longer. So the word ride here means my journey in the train. And I can say ride because I'm not controlling the train. Someone else is driving the train, and I am just riding on the train. Our second example asks, could you give me a ride to school? So this is a very common use of the word ride, and this means we're asking someone to drive us somewhere. Could you give me a ride? That means you are going to take me in your car. In the last example, we also use ride with bicycles. And with a bicycle, we are controlling the vehicle. So if I say I ride my bike around the lake every day, that means I am driving the bicycle. Usually bicycles only carry one person. Notice up here that ride is an irregular verb. The past tense is rode, and the past participle is ridden. Next, we have the verb last. Last is an intransitive verb that means to continue for an amount of time. In the reading, I said, I wish the train ride could have lasted longer. That means I wish that the time continued longer. The second example says the most beautiful part of the sunrise only lasts a few minutes. And the last example is the pandemic will have lasting effects on the economy. And the adjective lasting means long lasting. It will continue for a longer time. Next, we have the noun passenger. A passenger is a countable noun that refers to a person riding in a vehicle, but also not in control. In the reading, I said the idea of being on a large cruise ship with thousands of passengers doesn't appeal to me at all. The second example talks about passenger planes. Passenger planes carry people, cargo planes carry goods. And then how many passengers were on the train? Next, we have the verb appeal. Appeal means to be attractive or pleasing to someone. So when I say the cruise ship doesn't appeal to me at all, it means it's not attractive to me. The idea doesn't please me. I don't want to do it. Appeal can also be used as a noun. Cruise ships have a lot of appeal to older people and young families. That means they have a lot of attraction to older people. And in the last example, we have the adjective form. I don't find cruise ships appealing. It means I don't find them attractive. I don't like the idea of them. Notice that if you want to use appeal as a verb, you can use it with an indirect object and the preposition to. It doesn't appeal to me. Next, we have the phrasal verb get up. Get up means to stand from a seated or reclining position. Reclining means you're lying down. So I said on a train, you can get up and walk around. In our second example, I woke up at 6 but didn't get up until 7. So that means at 6 o'clock you woke up, you're no longer sleeping, but maybe you stayed in bed for another hour and you didn't get up until 7. And in the last example, when she heard the noise, she got up to look out the window. So in this sentence, you don't know if she was in bed lying down or if she was sitting at her desk. But in any case, she stood to look out the window. And remember that get is an irregular verb, so the past tense is got, and the past participle is gotten. And finally, we have the phrasal verb get there. Get there is a non-separable intransitive verb that means to arrive somewhere. So at the end of the reading, I said, as much as I wonder where we'll go next, I wonder how we'll get there. And in the next example, the next example says, let's meet at the cafe. What time can you get there? It means what time will you arrive there? And along with get there, we can also say get here. So the last example is, I'm sorry I'm late, I just got here. That means I just arrived right now. And I know it sounds kind of strange, but when we're talking, especially in the United States and in casual conversation, we are much more likely to say get here and get there than arrive. So that's it for today's writing and vocabulary lesson. To really practice your writing, let's write a sentence using each new vocabulary word, including those synonyms and opposites. Summarize the week's reading in 1 to 2 sentences. And then let's write 2 paragraphs. In the first paragraph, describe a journey you took recently and how you got there. And for the second paragraph, answer this question. Do you agree with the saying that it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey? Great work today. If you're enjoying these free lessons, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.